save that ends, "Oh, hear us when we lift our prayer for those in peril in the air." Somebody might be saying some version of that now, would you think?
That's possible, and every little bit helps, I've noticed. So when people approach you and say they prayed for you, you say, "That's nice, maybe it worked." You don't ever know what really does it.
We've talked a lot about the tiles, those 30,000 plus tiles on the Space Shuttle Columbia. The tiles looking like this. This is the outside, this is the inside. These are the key to getting the spaceship through this very dangerous period in which it is now in. Hold on just a moment. Mission Control has something to say. Let's pick it up.
There's been a power failure at Vandenberg Air Force Base, which may affect the radar and telemetry on the early portions of the signal here.
All right, well, that is no big deal. Power failure of the radar, nobody wanted it to happen, but when he first said there'd been a power failure, your heart sort of misses a beat there. But I should say, by the way, that an especially equipped C-141 jet transport is in the air near Hawaii with an enormous infrared sensitive telescope aimed at the orbiter. The plan is for this aircraft to make a heat map of the orbiter's belly. This information should help in planning future flights and possible changes in the shuttle, including possible changes with the tiles. Now, Leo Krupp, check me if you will here, because you and I have talked about these tiles any number of times. First of all, some changes are going to be necessary, will they not? Because already some of the tiles from this area of the spacecraft, a non-vital area in terms of re-entry, have turned up missing, and you say changes have to be made.
Well, that's right, Dan. The tiles came off, and they're not critical for re-entry or landing. However, they were put on there for a purpose, and they came off. So there will be an investigation and an improvement, a modification in that area, and the next time I'm sure they'll stay on, knowing how NASA and Rockwell work and Lockheed, who makes the tiles. I'm sure we'll make it work.
Right, but the critical area for the tiles is in this area here and on the bottom part of the aircraft. That's where the most heat and the most intense heat comes. Now, the question has arisen, well, why are the tiles black? Why is it black on the bottom of the spacecraft and white on the top of the spacecraft? Now, the answer given is that when the spacecraft is flying in this position, that is with its top toward the sun and in orbit, that you want to reflect the heat. And that when the spacecraft is coming back into the Earth's atmosphere and into this critical period in which so much heat is coming up underneath, that you want the spacecraft insofar as possible to radiate heat. And while we know that white reflects heat, black radiates heat somewhat better, and that's part of the reason that it's black underneath the spacecraft. Any other reason, Leo Krupp?
Well, I think that's basically it, Dan. You have anything to add, Al?
No, the different colors absorb and radiate differently. For example, they painted the top black so it would absorb better from the sun. But if you want to radiate these temperatures, you need something black. And realize these temperatures, like you pointed out, are 2,600 degrees, 2,300, 2,000. We're talking about a lot hotter than what the top would get or the sun gets it.
So they wanted it to reflect the sun's heat on the top of the spacecraft and radiate heat from below.
Intense heat, yes.
I believe we again had some communication from Mission Control, so let's see if we can pick that up. That's a chase plane in the air. That's one of the aircraft. Mission Control at the moment is not talking. I remind you again that the astronauts are out of communication. They're in their communications blackout at this moment. And we are roughly 15 minutes to touchdown.
Chase, this is Houston. You can anticipate getting a Mach 9 call. Over.
Chase 1 copies, Houston.
Houston out.
Now, so it's clear in your mind, and to make sure there's no mistake, that the communications blackout period has just ended. The most critical phase has ended. However, we are not in voice contact with the astronauts at the moment and won't be for a while. So far as can be determined, everything has gone well with the re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. We can't know for certain and for sure until we are back in voice contact with the astronauts, but things certainly look good at the moment. The end of the blackout period, the communications blackout period, which we pointed out before, while a somewhat dangerous, I suppose strike the word somewhat, a dangerous period and certainly a tension-filled period, but an expectable one, and in some ways reassuring because it does mean that the astronauts are on their way back to Earth. But the blackout period ended at 10:08 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now that will be actually coming up momentarily. Now, Leo, is it clear in your mind whether we are or not out of the blackout
We're
period?
not out yet. We're out of the blackout as far as the heat and entry, but we're not in communications. Now, we're going to be picking up tracking here in just a minute.
Okay, so
Automatic
tracking
flight
will be picking
control.
up in just a moment. Let's try to pick it up.
And Chase, disregard the Mach 9 call. We'll give it again shortly.
We'll go, we'll go.
Showing an altitude of 106. Two C-band radar contacts showing an altitude of 165,000 feet. Range to go 410 nautical miles.
Stand by for mark on 9,700 feet per second.
Hello there, Houston, Columbia's here.
I hear the voices of the
Columbia,
astronauts.
Houston's here. How do you read?
Flying clear, and we're doing Mach 10.3 at 180 AS.
And we couldn't agree more, John. Your state vector's good. We've got good data in-house.
Okay, it looks to me like the L over D is nominal. RCN quantity and APU quantity looking good.
Well, the translation of all that is the guys with the right stuff are in the right spot.
Everything's up.
Exactly where they were
Succinctly
supposed
said
to
that
be.
is it.
Perfect energy, perfect ground track.
Oh, boy.
Now, we may have the first sighting
Now
of
9 times the speed
the
of sound.
shuttle in flight. Let's take a look.
We're showing you rolling right. Looking good.
Right, normal roll.
He's still off the coast, Dan.
Rolling now.
This, we believe to be the, this would be a shot from the
Chase will
television
be on
chase
time.
plane.
Okay.
It's very difficult for us to see it out here, but this is as the Space Shuttle Columbia approaches the coast of California. What terrific news to hear the voice of those astronauts.
Complete.
Now, this shot is from the peak, Anderson Peak, near,
We show you out of 100.
and this is a long lens camera to say the least, and we believe we're picking up the Space Shuttle in flight, back in the Earth's atmosphere.
Roger that, Trip. We're looking.
And let's take a listen as Mission Control talks to the astronauts. What a tremendously exciting moment to hear the voices of the astronauts
hanging in
again.
there, looking good.
Roger that, we concur.
We have a live television picture from the optical tracker at Anderson Peak. Crossing the coastline
We
now.
show you crossing the coast now.
Roger that, we concur.
141,000 feet.
It's about 11 miles
Range
south of Big
240
Sur.
miles.
Tack hands, go ahead and take them.
Okay, going in.
About 11 miles south of Big Sur, California.
Crew now incorporating tactical air navigation system data into the spacecraft. Mach 7.
Approximately 11 minutes to touchdown.
135,000 feet, range 221 miles.
Columbia,
Dead on the ground
very
track.
quiet to us.
Let's go out in here, too. What a way to come to California.
What a way to come to California, indeed.
That is so good. That's
The
John.
crew has started to lower Columbia's
Columbia,
nose.
you're out of 130K now on the tracking. 6.4 Mach, looking good.
Roger that. So we agree with those numbers.
It's flying like an airplane now. It's not a spaceship.
The spaceship has ceased to be a spaceship. It's flying like an airplane now.
Roger that.
Mach 6, 124,000 feet.
6
Range
times the speed of
177
sound.
miles.
And John, we're seeing near zero aileron trim.
We're seeing 210. Yeah, less than that now.
Roger that, out of 119K, 5.5 Mach.
Jack Riley in Houston talking to
All flight controllers giving perfect report.
Commander John Young.
Roger, we copy.
Should be coming down Interstate 5 just about now at Buttonwillow.
The space shuttle now flying like an airplane, or perhaps better said, flying like a glider right down Interstate 5.
Roger that, out of 112K, 4.8 Mach.
Range 130. John Young rolling using manual control now.
We see Del as 21 degrees.
Roger that, looking good.
Mach 4.4, 107,000 feet. Range 112.
Approximately 8 minutes to touchdown.
Roll reversal complete. Control looks good.
Columbia, we see roll reversal complete. Control looks good.
Rope's coming out.
And you're starting to get ammonia cooling now.
Roger, we can try.
And Columbia, you're out of 100K with positive seats. Looking good.
Ejection seats can be used now.
Beautiful.
Below 100,000.
Spacecraft, since it's below 100,000 feet, they can now use their ejection seats if necessary.
Looks pretty good for here.
Roger that. Looking good. We're looking at them. And you're coming right down the chute.
But everything is looking
Rudder
good.
active now, looking good.
Everything right on.
Range 73 miles.
Columbia, we're go for air data. You're out of 89K, 2.8 Mach.
Should be passing just south of Bakersfield right about now. Heading for Edwards.
It is in.
Roger that. We're looking.
Okay, take in figure.
Roll reversal to the right.
Columbia, we see you coming right. Looking good.
Mach
Okay, Joe, I'm
2.5.
having a hard time seeing the talkbacks on those landing gear hydraulic isolation valves. They look okay to you?
Every head, all eyes at Edwards Air Force Base now
Okay,
turned upward,
Chris,
looking
they all
to
look
see
good
the
to us.
spaceship as it comes into view. Now, for those of you at home, remember you may hear the sonic boom.
We now have a live television picture from the long-range optics at Dryden Flight
Columbia, you're
Research
coming
Center.
right down the track. The tracking data, nav data, and pre-plan trajectory are all one line on our plot boards here.
Roger, we can try.
As the space shuttle comes over the Edwards Air Force Base California landing site,
Out of
you may hear a
70,000
sonic
feet
boom.
at Mach 1.8, range 42 miles.
Should be right up in there.
Spacecraft will make one pass over the dry desert lake bed, then swing around and has one chance at a landing.
Slightly high in altitude, coming down nicely, and the FES is to go to off.
It's chase planes, chase planes. Chase planes.
Mach 1.3 at 58,000 feet, range 33 miles.
That is the Space Shuttle Columbia you see on your screen.
Looking good.
Jack Riley in Mission Control, Houston, talking to the astronauts. He'll be in constant contact now, and we'll let you hear as much of it as there is. Roughly 5 minutes to landing.
Mach 1 at 51,000 feet, range 28 miles.
Columbia, you're going subsonic now, out of 50K, looking good.
Roger that.
Everything looking good.
After 54 hours,
Columbia, you're approaching the hack now.
Sonic
Right
boom.
on the money.
You hear the boom?
that was the sonic boom as the Space Shuttle nears its landing site.
Columbia getting ready to start the big sweeping turn into the runway.
Truth as a tally. Roger, check.
And Crip, altimeter 3009er.
Roger that.
That voice, Joe Allen, who is the Capcom communicator with the astronauts themselves. Jack Riley is the voice of the shuttle.
Columbia, you're coming right around the hack, looking beautiful.
They made one pass over.
Space count aboard 30,000.
That was a sonic boom you heard when it went over.
Control very smooth.
They've already made a pass over.
Now they're in the turn.
The Space Shuttle has gone over the landing site, has made its
Columbia,
turn.
you're really looking good. Right on the money. Right on the money.
Now, in its final approach, they get one chance to do this. Critical time will be with does the landing gear come down. That's manual control by Commander John
And
Young.
we're seeing 1.3 Gs coming around the hack.
Roger that.
And turning on to final, your winds on the surface are calm.
Back on the wind.
25,000 feet. Mach 0.6, range 13 miles. 22,000 feet.
Airspeed approximately 325 miles an hour.
Control looking very smooth. Speed brake at 40. We have a television picture now.
You're right on the glide slope, Columbia.
Clear, John.
They're lining up at the runway now.
Right on glide slope. Approaching center line, looking great.
This TV from the chase plane. $16,000 feet.
Mark 15.
Airspeed 271 knots.
The chase plane is just below the shuttle.
Fido says it couldn't be any better. $11,000 feet.
That's real good underneath.
Next critical moment, at about 200 feet up, they'll put the gear down.
9,000. $280 knots.
Everything looks real good. 5,290.
That's the chase plane that looks like a parasite fish just
2,500
behind the
feet.
shuttle. And the crowd begins to rumble at the edge of Edwards Air Force Base as the shuttle comes into view.
There it is.
You're coming.
The landing gear is down.
50 feet. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown. Hold gear, 10 feet. 5, 4, 3, touchdown. Look about, skipper.
Beautiful.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful. We're going to dust it off first.
This is the world's greatest all-electric flying machine, I'll tell you that. It was super.
Okay, convoy's on its way.
Convoy on. Wheel stop on the Columbia. Wheel stop.
Wheels stop on the Columbia. Gentlemen, there's plenty of time to talk. There's plenty to talk about. But let's take a deep breath and just soak up this moment.
This is Mission Control, Houston. The unofficial touchdown time, 2 days, 6 hours, 20 minutes, 52 seconds. 2 days, 6 hours, 20 minutes, 52 seconds.
And Columbia, Houston, we're estimating at least 26 more minutes on the ammonia. You're looking real good.
Fire trucks, 3 helicopter rescue teams, and paramedics are on emergency standby.
Touch the lake bed. The flight director's instructions were prepare for exhilaration.
There goes the convoy.
Convoy command vehicle going out now. There'll be 12 vehicles with 270 ground crew members moving into position on the edge of the lake. The safety man in a protective suit with air supply goes out to check for leaking explosives or toxic gases. If any leaking explosives or toxic gases should be found, then a trailer-mounted 14-foot fan would sweep the shuttle with 45-mile-per-hour wind to disperse any gas. It's going to be quite a long while now before the astronauts come out of the space shuttle. What a moment. What? You know, this kind of excellence, absolutely zero flaw.
Incredible. It seems incredible to see the vehicle show up after being gone 2 days out in outer space. It just shows up on the end of the runway and rolls out. It is incredible. As John Young said, what a way to come to California.
Now, 2 trucks are going to hook up hoses to the rear of the craft to air condition the interior and pump the inert gas through the engine and fuel lines to clear any lingering vapors. If any high concentration of explosive hydrogen fuel should be found, then the astronauts and the ground crew convoy would leave the area on an emergency basis, but there's no indication that that's going to be necessary. If all goes well, and there's no reason to believe it won't now that the Space Shuttle Columbia is on the ground, the astronauts safe and well at Edwards Air Force Base, the hatch will be opened and a doctor will go aboard to check the crew, who will exit about 37, 38 minutes from now. This is a high shot as the Space Shuttle Columbia is on the dry lakebed desert floor, and the support crew, if we can get a shot of those strange anteater-looking vehicles going out, there they are. They are the 2 trucks with the hook hoses designed to clear the craft, to air condition the interior and pump any inert gases through the engine and fuel lines to clear out lingering vapors. Weird, strange, bizarre-looking machines. Going out to the machine, the tremendous air machine that has just opened a new era of the space age. Our CBS News coverage of the landing of the spaceship Columbia will continue in a moment.